2026 brings 13 games that challenge current expectations. We are not just discussing larger maps or sharper textures. These digital worlds feel genuinely alive in ways older hardware struggled to process. Fans spent hours rewatching trailers frame by frame, hunting for proof they were not looking at actual footage. Some push fresh technology, while others arrive from studios boasting decades of experience. Booting up these titles makes reality fade into the background.
The year's most anticipated launch belongs to Rockstar. Grand Theft Auto 6 drags you back to Vice City, delivering a sun-drenched, neon-lit slice of Miami stretched across a large fictional state called Leonida. Since you control two protagonists, Lucia and Jason, their interlocking stories provide a depth previous entries never attempted. Shimmering water reflections, moving crowds, and shifting sunlight all run in real time. Rockstar spent over a decade building toward this release. Nothing else coming soon matches this sheer scale. Pearl Desert spent years transforming Crimson Desert from an online multiplayer project into a solitary adventure. That pivot shows clearly through every released frame. Lacing up the boots of Cliff, a mercenary carving out survival in the medieval territory of Pywell, means facing threats from every direction. Physical combat carries serious weight here. Enemies react instantly to your strikes, letting you scale enormous creatures mid-fight, while horseback travel across open terrain remains consistently smooth. Developers described this as their most complex undertaking yet. Based on what fans have already witnessed, that claim holds up well. Hello Games built their reputation on No Man's Sky, rebuilding that space exploration title almost from scratch following a rough initial launch. Their next endeavor takes a drastically different path. Instead of roaming a galaxy, you traverse a single Earth-sized planet filled with dense forests, floating islands, and deep underground cave systems. Players from across the globe can share this entire sphere, constructing outposts and riding huge creatures together. Thanks to its sheer size, this stands out as a frequently discussed upcoming release. The studio has earned our benefit of the doubt. Sucker Punch Productions follows up a beloved PlayStation hit with Ghost of Yōtei. Pushing the narrative over 300 years beyond the original places you in the role of Atsu, a fresh warrior navigating snow-covered terrain surrounding Mount Yōtei in northern Japan. Visually, the sequel carries that identical painterly beauty, yet it trades warm island light for winter silence and frozen rivers. Every released screenshot captures striking photographic detail. Wandering through this environment offers a distinct atmospheric shift from the previous title. Playground Games spent years crafting a full Fable reboot, revealing an environment rebuilt from the ground up for modern hardware. Mixing humor with real danger establishes a distinct tone, capturing the balance those original entries handled better than most other franchises. Since your choices shape how villagers respond over time, two friends finishing the exact same campaign will leave with different memories. Lush green hills, ancient ruins, and weird creatures give Albion a unique personality that competing sandboxes usually lack. Funcom placed their harsh survival experience directly on Arrakis, the brutal desert planet that science fiction fans spent decades imagining. Dune Awakening challenges you to stay alive under a blazing sun that constantly drains your water supply, all while giant sandworms capable of swallowing entire structures patrol the deep dunes without warning. Beyond basic survival, you can build shelters, form strategic alliances, and take control of spice harvesting operations that rival factions eagerly want to seize. Safety does not exist naturally in this environment, meaning you have to manufacture it. That underlying tension drives every single decision from the exact moment you spawn in. Hideo Kojima's follow-up to his 2019 delivery title sends Sam Bridges into territory stranger than anything the predecessor attempted. These new zones take players across diverse regions like Mexico and Australia, featuring active environments that are constantly reshaped by natural disasters like forest fires, earthquakes, and sandstorms. Navigating this extensive map carries the same meditative quality that made the original memorable, yet the variety of locations pushes boundaries much further. Kojima refuses to offer easy answers for what you are seeing, making exploration feel genuinely unpredictable rather than carefully guided down a disguised corridor. Capcom rebuilt the Monster Hunter formula around a fluid, active ecosystem, expanding what the series can accomplish. A harsh desert shifts from clear skies to a blinding sandstorm within minutes, In response, your targeted creatures actively adjust their behavioral patterns. Different species interact with each other according to their own internal logic, ensuring your carefully planned hunt rarely goes off without a hitch. Constant unpredictability keeps fans returning long after the credits roll. Monster Hunter Wilds delivers exactly that experience in every single session. Where Winds Meet places you in ancient China as a wandering swordsman whose movement defies typical historical expectations. Sprinting across water, leaping between rooftops, and using martial arts to deflect or redirect enemy attacks. All feel earned rather than excessive, mainly because the map architecture actively rewards fluid traversal. Drawing heavily from Chinese history and folklore, fills every district with intricate architectural details alongside layered political tension. This project stands out effectively because studios outside the major Western and Japanese markets rarely produce titles at this ambitious level. Xbox Game Studios pushes State of Decay 3 in a noticeably colder, darker direction than its predecessors. Dropping you into a frozen wilderness means survival relies entirely on managing your community's food supply, morale, and perimeter defenses. Now, those looming threats include deadlier and more evolved undead human hordes. A 2020 cinematic trailer featured a zombie deer, though the studio recently confirmed that infected wildlife will not actually appear in the final release. Seeing it in actual footage quickly makes the creature deeply unsettling. Rather than focusing on individual heroics, this franchise centers on community management, and this brutal sequel ensures the harsh climate works against you constantly. Hangar 13 yanks the Mafia series all the way back to early 20th century Sicily, tracing organized crime origins through streets battered by decades of heat and dust. This setting immediately separates the prequel from its predecessors. It trades bustling American cities for narrow Sicilian roads, quiet olive groves, and isolated coastal towns where locals know everyone else's secrets. Following a deeply personal origin narrative, rather than a sprawling crime saga, suits this tighter scale well. Executing this specific atmosphere determines the project's ultimate success. Insomniac Games spent years proving they could execute superhero traversal with their Spider-Man titles, giving fans a huge New York worth exploring long after the credits rolled. Moving in a noticeably darker direction, their Wolverine project fits a gritty mutant who has lacked a dedicated, high-budget solo adventure. Although concrete details remain scarce for now, the tone established during the initial announcement pointed toward an intensely violent aesthetic. Assuming the map carries that signature Insomniac attention to detail, completionists will likely discover vast amounts of hidden content waiting outside the core missions. CD Projekt Red is constructing the next Witcher chapter on Unreal Engine 5. By abandoning their proprietary engine, they are investing in technology designed for far denser, complex locations. Taking the reins to lead this chapter is Ciri, a younger warrior who spent years building a devoted fan base without ever being a fully dedicated protagonist. Specific details remain scarce, but official announcements confirm the game will feature a dark and grounded world, reportedly exploring new regions like Kovir. This upgraded engine guarantees the most visually detailed version of the continent ever rendered. That is a serious bar to clear. This upcoming lineup represents interactive entertainment at its current peak. We are seeing bigger budgets, superior technology, and studios willing to endure long development cycles just to nail the texture and detail across every corner of the map. Each release provides something wholly distinct, whether that means brutal survival pressure, tight tactical combat, or a character-driven narrative. Personal preferences will naturally pull you towards some over others, yet the quality across these titles remains consistently strong. Drop a comment telling us which game you are most eager to try first, and subscribe if you want to stay current on everything worth playing.